Hey, what's going on, Black people? I hope you guys are doing well. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World and the Black Business School, and I want to say hello to everybody. And I also wanted to kind of have a candid conversation with you guys before I hit the road tomorrow. I'm about to leave the country. I'm about to go to Colombia. I go down to Medellin every now and then. I got a niece down there, and we do some business. We do business all over the world and stuff like that. Trying to make moves, trying to make boss moves. You try to make your boss moves, even if you don't feel like a boss. But you remind yourself that you either are a boss or can be a boss. You just got to be a boss of your own life. So I'm going down to Medellin, Colombia tomorrow, and I'll be down there for a few days, and I'll be reporting from Medellin because as you guys know, I like to take you guys on my journeys to different countries because I want to encourage you to travel the world. I believe that Black people, intelligent Black people, should be global travelers. You should be global travelers. And somebody says, "I see you made it to Google." Now, what does that mean? Does that made it to Google? Does that are you talking about that Lizzo stuff? The Lizzo stuff. There's not much else to really talk about that. I kind of enjoyed it, kind of analyzing that from every angle because I think that there's a lot to unpack with that. It's funny. I get some phone calls from relatives who saw what was going down and kind of had questions and stuff like that. And I enjoy answering questions, it's particularly because I don't have any shame in anything that I say because I know I'm not a stupid person, right? I know that I'm not a person that is, you know, I know I'm not a person that's going to just run his mouth and not think about what he said. I know that, honestly, it is an advantage when you can legitimately say, you had more education by the age of 25 than most people honestly get in their whole life. It doesn't mean I'm bragging. It just means I might be a lot of things. You can call me an asshole. You can call me short. You can even say that I used to be fat, which is pretty much true. And I'm still a little fat. Still got a little bit of a belly, but I'm working on it. But you can't really say I'm dumb, right? Even the people that hate me can't say I'm stupid. They might say I'm an asshole, but they'll be like, well, he's smart, but he's an asshole, right? And it's okay. It's okay. So so I will just tell you guys just as a tip. I believe the truth sets you free. I believe that if you are honest and try to do the right thing and do your best, usually it's going to work out. And then even if it doesn't work out, it always kind of comes full circle. It eventually works out. You just got to be consistent. You got to stick with it. And that's why I say also for the Black man, particularly the Black man, because we've lost our manhood. You've allowed them to make you into little boys. For the Black man, you got to man up and understand that when you go to war, you're gonna have bad days. When you go to war, you're gonna have days where you get your ass kicked. You're gonna go to war and have days where your enemy strikes a mighty blow at you and almost makes you want to quit. But if you never quit, then you never die. As far as I'm concerned, if you never quit, you can never lose. And so I come from a warrior spirit, man. I don't fuck around. So anyway, with that said, though, please hit the thumbs up button. If you haven't hit the thumbs up button, please hit the thumbs up button. And yes, Naima, the Black Royal wedding will be July 11th. I will have the distinct honor of marrying a beautiful Black woman on that day in the South Side of Chicago. All of y'all are invited. The reason that I am public about this conversation is because I believe we should get back to the basics as Black people. We should start honoring the Black woman and really supporting the sisters that we love and respect. Because I'll tell you now, what that does also is that means, that you can critique those who can do better. So you guys saw where I had that little debate about the whole Lizzo thing. And my whole conversation was never anti-Lizzo because it's bigger than Lizzo. It's about white supremacy. It's about the fact that white folks will reward buffoonery before they reward Black intelligence. This goes back to the plantation. Dr. Claude Anderson today on Powernomics Thursday broke that down for y'all. He gave y'all the history of that. He explained where the mammy role comes from. He explained where the minstrel show comes from. He explained the traditions of what happened on the plantation back in the day that led to Black people believing that by being outrageous, by acting like buffoons, by humiliating ourselves in front of white folks, that's how you got paid. And he said, so for example, if white folks wear a hat, the Black guy will put the hat on backwards because he wants to be outrageous, right? Or if white folks sing at a certain pitch, we'll sing extra loud because we want to be outrageous, right? Or if a white woman wears a sexy dress, Lizzo will show up at the Lakers game with her booty out because she wants to be outrageous, right? That's how you get what is called, if you read books like Black Labor, White Wealth, that's how you understand your history. If you read books like Black Labor, White Wealth, you'll find that there's a long history of that sort of outrageous behavior designed for Black people that are seeking to get attention from massa, to get financial support from massa. White supremacist systems only reward you if you are a white supremacist. If you are not committed to white supremacy, then chances are you won't get a chance to be that famous singer. You'll be that singer that nobody ever heard about, right? So just know that's kind of what it is. That's what I was seeing. So I enjoy actually analyzing that. And I don't believe Black people are doomed, Angela. I think that some Black people are doomed. Some Black folks can't get out of the matrix. I don't think your children are doomed. I don't think your descendants are doomed. In fact, give me a yes or no on this question. Yes or no? If you are investing and buying shares of stock and real estate and assets for your children at an early age, are they going to be doomed financially when they become adults? Yes or no? If you're investing for your children now while they're young, in 20 years from now, are they going to be doomed financially? Are they going to be part of the struggle, or are they going to be in a good position? Yes or no? Are they going to be screwed financially? Yes or no? Let me give you another yes or no question. You guys know I'm 30% Nigerian. I was very proud of that because Nigerians value education. If you emphasize education over ignorance in your household, if you are pushing your children to become as educated as they can possibly be, to read every book they can get their hands on, to become critical thinkers, will your child be doomed? Yes or no? Give me a yes or no. 20 years from now, everybody answer. Come on, I need you to answer this because sometimes it's the simple stuff that leads to the more complicated insights. Yes or no? If you push your children to be to put education at the top of the priority list, are they going to be doomed? Yes or no? Well, we know the answer is no, right? If your children are raised to support Black families and to take care of their kids and to make good decisions in life, are they going to be doomed? Yes or no? I mean, anything can happen, right? I mean, we know how life works. We know sometimes you're doing everything right and you might get shot by the cops. But I know a lot of brothers have been shot, but I don't know no brothers have been shot by the cops, to be honest with you. I don't know a single Black man. I don't know anybody. Tell me yes or no. Do you know anybody who's been shot or killed by the police? I'm not saying the police don't kill people. We know what happens. But sometimes, what we do is we actually become white supremacists because we'll look at something that's happening to us and we will completely relinquish our ability to have any say in our own fate. We think that we're empowering ourselves by reminding ourselves that we have no power. You can't empower yourself or empower each other by basically reminding yourself that you have no power. Like, that doesn't make any sense. So you have power over your outcomes. Can we at least agree on that? Can we at least agree that you have some say in how your life turns out? If your kids are going to school stinky or if they go to school clean, who controls that? You or white people, white supremacy? Who controls whether your kids go to school stinking or go to school with a bath? You or white people? Who determines whether your kids can read or can't read? You or white people? Do you have that power, or did you hand that power over to white folks because you are a white supremacist? Did you hand over the ability of your child to read because you believe white folks are going to teach your children better than you? If you did that, then you a goddamn fool. If you handed over the future of your children to a slave master, then you stupid. You're stupid. So, I'm just going to tell you, you have a lot more power than you want to believe. Black folks are powerful. Life is not good when you're not, when you don't believe in your own power. Now, I want to hit a couple of interesting topics that crossed my brain today. Please hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the thumbs up button, share, and subscribe button. And also, if you want to learn financial literacy and learn about investing, you can actually get started for free at The Black Business School, theblackbusinessschool.com. We have 82,000 students worldwide. We're engaged in a massive expansion throughout Africa now. We're setting up an office in South Africa, and we're going to set one up in Ghana as well, because we want to reconnect the diaspora and also ensure that Black people by the year 2070, which is actually 51 years from now, in the year 2070, Black people, I want that segment of the Black community to be the most financially literate group of people on earth. And I know that this can happen because I have a PhD in finance. That's my expertise. That's what I know better than almost anything else. Only thing I know better than finance is I know what it's like to be a Black man. That's why I talk about Black issues, because I've been a Black man my whole life, but I was working on my PhD for many years. So let me dig into a couple of issues. Number one, this one's really funny. Has anybody noticed that the ADOS leaders have been blocking everybody? I saw with Jason Black, his channel is the Black channel, the Black Authority. Jason Black has really been laying out very deep, insightful critiques of, ADOS leadership. And I think ADOS leadership can be separated from ADOS members. I think ADOS had a lot of momentum. Even I was a supporter of ADOS. I was ready to lay down my sword, let go of any past grievances and support. But unfortunately, the leadership, I think that there's a mental health issue going on. I really do. I think maybe the pressure of all the criticism and being in public and suddenly getting all that spotlight has really, really kind of hit them. I really think there's something going on psychologically, because it's just now, it's a little bit weird when you're just really trying to fight everyone. So I really say this because I'm just objective, and sometimes it pisses people off when you speak the truth, but that's what I do. I'm just going to speak the truth. And I think that they really picked the wrong enemies. I think that a lot of the enemies that they have are people that would have been their friends. I really believe that these people would have actually helped them achieve their goal. If you recall, if you go back, Tariq Nasheed was not attacking ADOS in the beginning. He was actually reaching out to ADOS and telling Tone, hey, buddy, look, we can work together. And I did that. I used to do something most people don't do. Think about this. How many people do you know out here that have big platforms actually share their YouTube channel with other people? How many of you name anybody that you can think of who has a big YouTube channel that actually lets other people use their channel to say whatever they want to say? It doesn't happen that often, right? But I've let Yvette use my YouTube channel probably 100 times. If you go back, there's still videos on there. I don't delete a lot of stuff. So there's a ton of videos up there that Yvette did on my channel, because I never saw a difference of opinion as a threat. When you're kind of an intellectual, when you're a scholar, you're not supposed to see a difference of opinion to mean that you're supposed to hate somebody, like, oh, I'm gonna kill you, motherfucker. Like, you don't do that. In academia, differences of opinions are all over the place. Like, you might have somebody you eat lunch with every day who thinks everything that you say is completely wrong. But in academia, where I come from, you're trained to believe in openness. Like, look, hey, you got your opinion. That's not a threat to me. You over there, I'm over here. It is what it is, right? And we can even work together, because now we got all the perspectives covered. I'm a Democrat, you're a Republican. So you can speak from the Republican point of view. I'll speak from the Democrat point of view. Now we have a complete, thorough representation of all perspectives. It wasn't until we got to the internet where you get into this weird, almost like gangster shit, like Crips and Bloods, like either Black people can do for self, or we need the government. We need government help. It was one or the other. Like, we can't do both. We can't ask for reparations and do for self. We can't, demand reparations and still build businesses at the same time. No, we got to fight it out. One of us got to live. One of us got to die, motherfucker. I'm gonna take you out. Blah, blah, blah. Right. And I think that Black people lose when we do that. I really think, you're already a thin little margin anyway. Like, you're already a sliver of society. Why would you take something that's small and cut it into little pieces? That doesn't make any sense. And so if you want to know why, and some people think that I was stupid for letting Tone and Yvette do so many videos on my channel, because a lot of people believe that they actually got a lot of momentum off that channel. That channel had 350,000 subscribers. I don't know how many subscribers they have, but I don't think they have 350,000 subscribers on their channels. If you add them together, I don't think they have 350,000. So, but why did I do that? Well, for the same reason I shared my space with Tariq Nasheed. I promoted Jason Black's movie, 7 a.m. I promoted Dr. Claude Anderson. I let, a lot of people use my platforms, and sometimes it works out well. Sometimes it don't. Sometimes it goes good. Sometimes it goes left. And so, long story short, maybe I was naive. Maybe I was just believing too much in the goodness of Black people. Maybe I should have not trusted people, but I just kind of thought we could coexist and just agree to disagree. Like when I talk to, when I talk to Black folks, I just really, I'm not threatened by another point of view. I'm not gonna feel like I got to take you out because you disagree with me. If you disagree with me, I'm actually usually more interested in hearing from you, because you're going to actually help me gain a broader point of view, right? So this whole fighting it out because you're mad about Black people wanting to start businesses and believing that we can do things for ourselves, that's a little bit strange to me. I don't understand that. And most of the people that are fighting with the ADOS leadership, when Jason Black does a good job. I mean, he goes pretty hard, and when he went hard on Tone, I sensed almost like a animosity he has now because they were fucking with him so much. Like I don't think Jason Black would have. I think if Tone had reached out in solidarity and said, "Hey, brother, look, we don't agree, we don't see eye to eye, but I'd like to build with you. We can both work together. Let's accomplish this goal. Let's get this thing done." I think Jason would have been like, "Okay, let's do this." Because I work with Jason. I met Jason. I met him and Dr. Claude Anderson at the same time in Chicago. Jason had both of us come in. Jason paid us both a fee to come and speak at his event. He showed that respect, and we all had a great time, and we were all building together as a community. So I don't feel like Jason's the kind of guy that would go out looking for war, but Jason's not a punk either. Jason, as you've seen, Jason will chew you up, chop you up, and spit you out, and that's what he's been doing, and I don't blame him. I just think it's kind of sad. And so what you're seeing now, though, and they've got other people that are critiquing them. Vicki Dillard has been going hard. Again, Vicki, I know Vicki very well. Vicki's a very wonderful, sweet, nice, kind human being. She wasn't looking for a fight, but Vicki will fight you back, right? She ain't scared of nobody. But Vicki ain't out attacking people, but she will challenge you if you're on some bullshit. Same thing. You got you go to Tariq Nasheed. I don't think Tariq was looking for a fight. Remember, Tariq he was extending olive branches to Tone. And I think for Tone, I think that what you're looking at like basically, honestly, I think some kind of a jealousy thing and a male competition that comes from some sort of deep-seated inferiority complex that is causing him to want to lash out at everybody. And I think that really says maybe he's not mature enough to take the leadership mantle that was given to him, because ultimately leadership is not about self-aggrandizement. I think that's the right word. It's not about just, running your mouth and saying, look at me, look at how great I am. Leadership really is service. Leadership means that you are in the service of the people that give you the power of leadership. So I've noticed that they've just been blocking everybody. I think Yvette has blocked. I think either Yvette or Tone or both of them have blocked Tariq. They blocked Jason. They blocked Vicki. I don't know if they blocked me or not, because I don't really actually go to their channel. I could probably go look and see. But I know they still talk about me. Like, when I went to Africa, they had a lot to say about about my trip to Africa, as if Africa is a bad thing or something. Like, I never knew that going to Africa was such a bad thing. I don't get that. I don't see why you got to beefing with Africa too. Like, that's 1.2 billion people you beefing with. Like, are you really trying to beef with everybody? You trying to really do like a Donald Trump? Like, remember 50 Cent. 50 Cent did that. Remember 50 Cent was like trying to beef like with everybody when he first came out, and people were like, "Why are you mad, son? Like, why are you pissed at everybody? Like, do you really got to beef with everybody?" So I just kind of think it's just bad strategy, and it's not intelligent, and it's not going to work. It's just not going to work. And it's unfortunate, because I think the ADOS movement had a good amount of momentum behind it. And so either they're not thoughtful about their approach, or they have another agenda that is hidden. I've seen a lot of the conversation now about them sort of shifting to a white liberal disposition, sort of talking about the standard white liberal talking points that you hear from the Booty Gig, or whatever the guy's name is, or Bernie Sanders, or whatever, right? Like shifting, and then, so for 1 minute, it's like you're anti-capitalism, capitalists are bad. You hate Jay Morrison because he's a capitalism. You hate Tariq Nasheed because he's a capitalist. You hate, who else? Dr. Claude Anderson because he's a capitalist. You hate Jay-Z because he's a capitalist. And then next thing you know, you're lined up with a capitalist, Byron Allen. Like, you are, whether you like it or not, you're deeply connected to Byron Allen who is a pure 100% complete capitalist. I mean, he does not hold back. He's like, yeah, I'm a capitalist. I need to make my money. I got 400 million in the bank and I want 1 billion, right? So ultimately, I would just say that, that at the end of the day, it's kind of hilarious that we kind of like that we position ourselves where we end up looking somewhat hypocritical. Okay, so that's one thing I'll say, and I think anybody who has a point of view that actually supports this sort of nonsense, those are just generally unhappy people. Those are generally people that are looking for chaos and looking for a fight. And it used to be to a point where we would debate the issue and it was like, okay, let's have a debate. Let's talk about it. But some people aren't here for a debate. Some people are actually literal provocateurs. I don't know if they're planted by the CIA or by the Russian bots or whatever it is. I have no idea. But some people, you listen to their comments, you're like, why are you trying to fight over this? Like, there's no reason to fight. Like, there's nothing we're fighting about. Like, why are you mad? Like, what are you mad about? And so another point I'll say is this, when it came to the Africa trip, I was a little bit confused. I knew they were going to make a video about the Africa trip and actually I like when they make videos because it actually helps to more people to know what we're doing. Because the thing is that you filter out people, right? You've got the people that are like, Boyce Watkins ain't shit, fuck Boyce Watkins, I hate that motherfucker. Most of those people don't know anything about me, right? So those people you can't really help because those are unhappy people, or maybe they just have a different point of view. Maybe they just think black people who are building businesses are all evil or whatever. But then you got those people who generally want to do the right thing. You got people that want unity, they want black power, they want solidarity, and they want information. So those people are the ones who will come over and say, so what's really going on, Dr. Boyce? We heard that you went to Africa and it was on some fraudulent shit, that you were trying to fuck over black people by visiting Africa, right? And then what I do is the truth sets you free. So I'll come back and say, okay, let me give you some facts about the Africa trip. This is a great opportunity to talk about Africa and how important Africa is in our plan for global domination, in our plan for black economic success long term. Africa is the wealthiest continent on the planet. There's 1.2 billion people. They have over $3 trillion gross domestic product. There's 55 countries, so they're not all the same. So when you diss all of Africa, it's like somebody who disses the entire black church. I think that's a little bit misguided because the black church, there's thousands of churches. Like, you can't put all the churches in one category. Like, that's kind of crazy, right? There's 50,000 black pastors. And you can't say they're all the same. I know some pastors who do the right thing. I know some pastors who don't do the right thing. It is what it is. So anyway, another thing I would probably say is, well, actually Yvette Carnell has my phone number. She's always had it, and she could always call me. I've never told, anytime, if she were to call me tomorrow, I'd take the call. I'd say, okay, Yvette, what's really going on? What's really happening inside your mind that's causing you to behave this way? Because you seem unhappy. You seem disheveled. You seem lost. You seem angry. What am I doing that's making you angry? Like, what is it that's upsetting you, that's hurting you this much? And also, if you want to know about my Africa trip, I mean, if you really want to know, you can call me and you can ask me. I'll come on your channel. I'll answer every question from every person, as long as they're trying to be fair. If they're really trying to be fair and trying to find the truth, I'll answer any question. Like, why did you go to Africa? Well, I went there because I was invited by Mike Roberts, and Mike Roberts asked me to come in. I don't know much about Mike Roberts' business other than the fact that I read about him in CNN and they said he was a billionaire, but maybe he's not. I don't give a shit. He's not paying me any money. I don't know. Did they pay you to go? No, they didn't pay me. I paid my own way. I paid for my son, and we had a great trip. It was amazing. I mean, you guys should really go. Did you charge black people $4,000 for a ticket to Africa? No, I didn't, because I couldn't invite anyone because it wasn't my trip. So this, and then if we did do a travel group to somewhere, if white people can do travel groups and charge money, why can't black people do the same thing? If white people can sell, like white folks come in, they sell you Popeye's chicken, they sell you movie tickets, they sell you Nike sneakers with Colin Kaepernick's face on them. And a lot of the black folks that you'll see that are the most negative don't complain much about that. They don't talk much about any of that. But they really have a weird issue with black people who are doing something that's on a different level from them. And I don't know if it's a game. Like, maybe it's just a game. Maybe it's a viewership game. Maybe it's like, we're going to just continue to poke and poke and poke, because every time we use your name and we vilify you, it gives us more ratings. So almost like WWE, where they come in like, I can't stand you, The Rock. I'm gonna whoop you. I'm gonna get you, right? And the crowd's like, yeah, 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 like, you know. And then The Rock's like, The Rock got something cooking, you know, like maybe it's like a WWE type thing where it's just like people just are like, I want to fight you because you're the biggest kid on the block, because you have power. Because if you have no power, they're not going to waste their time fighting you if you don't have any power. So, you know, so to some extent, they're choosing to fight me. Is it comes with the territory. Maybe it's even a compliment, right? If you're talking about me every other day on your channel, then you're talking about me because I'm having an impact, and that's okay, right? But I think, and I think that's fine. But I think that given the seriousness of what we're trying to do as Black people, I think given the seriousness of reparations and us trying to achieve reparations for the first time in history, or the seriousness of us trying to get out of our economic situation, and knowing that there are people out there that have, you know, doctorates in economics, like Julianne Malveaux, Dr. Claude Anderson. His doctorate's in something else, but he knows a lot about economics. Powernomics is a very well-researched book. I have a PhD in finance. Why not sit down at a table and come up with solutions together? Why not see your differences as an opportunity for you to gain a broader perspective, as opposed to doing what Guru was saying, beefing for attention? And because, you know, we're supposed to be thinkers. I didn't think we were supposed to be like rappers. Like rappers will create artificial beefs in order to sell records. So what I'm thinking, honestly, is I believe that there is, on YouTube, a lot of YouTubers are creating artificial beefs in order to get viewership, right? So I say all this, I'm analyzing this out in the open, not because I'm trying to criticize somebody. I mean, if I think something, I'll just share it and people can take it for what they want. But, you know, I'm saying it out loud because I want to kind of, you know, give you guys some food for thought, so that as you're processing this, right, as you're deciding, you know, okay, what's really worth my time and what's a complete fucking waste of time? What's mature and what's immature? What's productive and what's counterproductive? What's going to help Black people and what's going to hurt Black people? You can then sort of discern and say, okay, I get what's going on. He's just creating an artificial beef so he can get viewership, or he's mad because so-and-so has a bigger channel than him, or whatever. And you can run with that. Or you can say, you know, they disagree. They have this perspective over here. This person has that perspective. I'm going to just combine that because it helps me see both sides of the issue. That's how you actually become smarter. And the reality for Black people that you really got to face is that as a community, we're just not that smart, compared to everyone else. Like in terms of how we work together to accomplish things, we just really, sometimes we get dumbed down. I believe it's, you know, you let white folks educate you. That's what makes you, that's part of what makes you not that intelligent and unstrategic. Think about it. They're not going to educate the slaves to be as smart as the slave masters. They're not going to educate the powerless to be as intelligent and as strategic as the powerful. In fact, during apartheid in South Africa, they would actually punish you if they found out that you had any type of military training, because they knew that that was a threat to their supremacy, right? So ultimately for Black people, you know, when we are behaving like this, when we're in the middle of important international issues like reparations, and we're fighting like a bunch of teenagers, it really feeds into white supremacy because it makes us all look really, really stupid. Right. So there's some things I'll get involved with, some things I'll tell the truth about, some things I'll speak on, but some issues I'm like, man, okay, I get it. You're using me in your videos because it's going to get you views. But really, you know, there's a part of me that's thinking, okay, well, if you're that creative and you have that much energy behind what you're doing, why can't we be friends? Like, why can't we talk on the phone, work out the differences, and come out as one unified force, which will make us all powerful? Because here's the thing, you know, a stupid man, a coon, an ignorant man, you know, will say, okay, I got 8, he has 6. So 8 minus 6 is 2. He'll go down from 6 to 0, and I'll be the one left standing. Even though I'll be a 2, I beat that nigga. I beat that motherfucker. I got 2 and he got 0. I won, right? But a smart man doesn't say 8 minus 6 equals 2, right? A smart man says 8 plus 6 equals 14, right? So a smart man realizes that the best way to defeat an enemy is not to actually kill off the enemy. The best way to defeat an enemy is to turn that enemy into a friend. And so when you're talking about Black people, you know, when I look at a Black person, if let's say that they're conservative or they're more liberal than me, my goal is never to destroy that person. You know, even when I brought up the whole issue with the Lizzo thing, I never made it about Lizzo. I know the media is going to misinterpret it because that's what white folks do. They love to misinterpret intelligent black people. Because think about this, they all reported on the issue, and not one of them called me for a comment. So they didn't really want to know the truth. They wanted to share their point of view, their perspective on it. Right? They're like, wait, we love Lizzo. This Negro doesn't love what she's doing, so something is wrong with him. So we're going to just write it from our point of view because we're white and we can do that. But really, if the goal was to actually understand what was going on, two things. One, they would have asked my opinion, which none of them did, and then two, we can actually separate Lizzo, the human being, from the white supremacist system that actually perpetuates and rewards the creation of a minstrel show for white entertainment. This is not just gender specific. This is not Lizzo specific. This happens with black male rappers all the time. That's where a lot of gangster rap and mumble rap comes from. That's why you got black men out here doing the male version of what Lizzo's doing, which is basically cooning out on a high level, like literally international cooning, like high level, super cooning, bionic cooning in order to sell tickets, because that's what you get rewarded for. So it wasn't about a person. It was about a system. It was about a process. So anyway, but of course, though, the media wants to reduce this to two Negroes beefing, because that too is entertainment. Like, oh, here's one black person who hates another black person. Let them fight. That goes back to the plantation. That's what they used to do. They take one slave, get them up against another slave, and they would have them butt heads with each other until one of them fell out and was knocked out, right? So anyway, somebody says, thumbs down, unsubscribe. Good, man. I hope you leave because I'm getting you out of my channel now. So I really want anybody who doesn't get what I'm saying, I really kind of need you definitely to leave. If you're a moderator and you see somebody, talking crazy, I need you to just block them, get them out of here, because those are not people that I want here, because I don't want black people here who don't want to see the betterment of black people and the unity of black people. Like, if you're here because you want to talk shit, there's better places to talk shit. I'm not here. I'm not trying to fight for views. I get enough views from quality people. I want quality. I don't want quantity. I don't want to have a billion people watching me at one time. Where, like for example, I had people saying, congratulations, you're in mainstream media. I was like, that is not a good thing. I don't want to be mainstream because mainstream media is stupid. I don't want to be out there with all these white folks knowing who I am, because I don't want to hang out with white supremacists. I don't want to go to white universities that are indoctrinating young black people into these bullshit liberal concepts that are undermining and diluting and harming the black community. I want to be around black folks who want to build. I want to be around black folks who are forward thinking enough to understand that the key to our future is to look backward. I want to be around black folks who are brave enough to say, hey, you know what? Maybe this integration stuff was a bunch of bullshit. Maybe we were better as human beings and we had better communities before integration. Maybe there's a reason that our families stayed together before integration, before we started mingling with white folks. Maybe there's a reason why we had more businesses then than we have now. Maybe there's a reason why we own 15 times more land. We own 15 times more land 100 years ago than we own today. Like, seriously, like maybe there's like these are the people I rock with, and I know that's going to be a minority on top of a minority, because unfortunately the majority of black people are being severely miseducated. That's why y'all losing. You're losing, and you don't know why. You're going to Massa saying, Massa, we need y'all to change the law. We need a bill. We need a government job. I think they literally, if I'm not mistaken, I heard Tone, I hope this isn't true. I heard he was promoting baby bonds and guaranteed government jobs as a key to black liberation. If your ass thinks guaranteed government jobs is the key for black economic liberation, I can't do nothing for you. If at that point I can't even debate you anymore, because you're clearly having a debate that is above your pay grade. Baby bonds and guaranteed government jobs? Are you fucking serious, my brother? Are you kidding? So I don't even have an issue if you don't like me. I don't have an issue because I ain't shit. Who cares if you like me or not? It ain't about my ego. A lot of people don't like me. I got relatives that don't like me. I don't care if you disagree with me. That's fine. Maybe you're right and I'm wrong. I don't know. I want to learn from your perspective. But when you come in with something that clearly makes no sense to me, I don't know what to do with that. I just really don't. I don't. So that's where the dialogue, that's where it gets harder to have a dialogue, is when when you at first it might be like, okay, this person doesn't like me and they are disagreeing with me, and maybe they can add to my perspective. Maybe I'm wrong. I had a long conversation with Minister Louis Farrakhan once. We talked for 3 hours, just me and him, and there was one other person in the room that I had brought with me, who was on my management team. And one thing the minister said that really got me thinking is he actually said, you should listen to your critics, because sometimes your critics have a perspective and that you don't have. They're right about things that you're wrong about. And he gave me some examples, and I appreciated that because it helped me kind of gain some humility in terms of how I dealt with criticism. This was about 5 years ago when this happened. But but there's a point where when you have a critic where that the energy is so bad, or they're coming from such a bad place, that you just know, like, okay, the goal here is not peace. The goal here is war. The goal here is death. And I don't know what to do with that. I wish our community could learn from the Nation of Islam, for example, because one thing that the Nation of Islam does, and maybe I'm being naive here, but I just love the nation so much. I have so much respect for the nation. But one thing that I really like that they do is they focus, at least what Nuri Muhammad said. Nuri Muhammad came onto the channel. Nuri Muhammad is a good brother. And he said that one of the keys to maintaining relationships is you have to focus on figuring out what is right as opposed to figuring out who is right. You can't get so caught up in trying to win the argument that you forget that the goal is to unify and come together and benefit from each other's point of view. I like rolling with people like that, and I encourage you guys in your personal lives to take on that philosophy. When you when you got relatives that disagree with you, why do you got to argue about it? Why fight? Like, okay, you voted for Trump. I didn't vote for Trump. I can still love you. I still got something in common with you. Maybe we can talk about football. Maybe I just love you because you're my relative and I know you're a good person. You just happen to have a point of view politically that I can't agree with. Um, you got people out here that literally are blocking their friends, like ending friendships because their friend voted for Donald Trump. Fuck that. Donald Trump is never going to cause me to lose a friend or lose a family member. I'm not that stupid. That is not going to happen. I don't care who you voted for, because honestly, at the end of the day, when it comes to what is going to make a difference in your life, it's going to be what you do. It ain't whether you are a Democrat or a Republican. I know successful Republicans. I know failures who are Republicans. I know successful Democrats. I know failures who are Democrats. So what you do is what's going to determine what happens in your life. So hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the thumbs up button, share, and subscribe button. Also, if you want to support the platform or be a part of it and get in on special offers and things like that we make to our club, you can feel free to join our tribe of intelligent Black people. You can go to intelligentblackpeople.com. That's intelligentblackpeople.com. Charles says, tell Jason Black to show his face. Jason doesn't want to show his face. I'm not going to push him on that. I've seen his face. I don't know what his philosophy is in terms of why he does it that way, but I think he has a great platform, and I have a lot of respect for the brother, and I consider him to be a friend, and that's not going to change. I'm not out here trying to lose friends, so that is what it is. Let me see here. All right, so let me see here. I see, not just so you know, if you're in here talking shit, just know I did see some of your comments. So some of you are saying good things. Some of you get it. Some of you are talking shit, and it's okay. I think that's what it is. I think part of the internet is just entertainment, just people just saying things to try to trigger people. So my goal is to not really be triggered by anything if you say something I don't agree with, I'll process it. But my goal is to process it without being triggered by it. Like, my goal is not to be mad at you. My goal is to try to understand you, unless I think you're on some bullshit. Once I figure that out, then you kind of get ignored at that point. But one other thing that's interesting too, and I'm actually going to share this link with you guys. There was a family on here the other day that had a police brutality incident. I don't know if you saw that video. It's on there. It's, if you go down to a couple back I think 1 day or 2 days, you can find that this couple had this crazy thing where the husband and the wife went to I don't know if they were married. Actually, they've been together 19 years, but I don't think they're married. But they have kids together, and they went to Walmart and for a hair appointment for his daughter on her 14th birthday, and somehow this man ends up getting beat by the cops in front of his 4 children. And to tell you how ridiculous the cops were, they left, according to the family, they left the 5-year-old and the 7-year-old in the Walmart. Like, they took the father away and left the kids in the Walmart. Like didn't even, imagine if they take your daddy away and you're 5 years old and your daddy's gone. I mean, it's kind of crazy. And so anyway, I covered this story. It's in my hometown of Louisville, Kentucky. And they created a GoFundMe. They told me they needed lawyers and stuff. So I created a GoFundMe, and I told them that when the GoFundMe went up, I would share the link. And so actually, if you're watching on drboycetv.com, there's the link to the GoFundMe. So I hope that you'll find it in your heart to go support this family and what they're doing. Now, what's really funny is, I made the first donation. I do that, on causes that I support in order to hopefully encourage other people to donate as well. And of course, because the Lizzo controversy, I guess, has gotten so big, and people kind of look for anything to be mad about. Like that's what they do. There were people that were saying like, "Oh, you only gave $200 or $250, like blah blah blah," right? And I kind of laughed that off. I'm like, well, okay, well, if $250 ain't shit, then you give $250 too. Please go ahead and do that. Let's all give some money. And but here's the thing. So the criticism, I heard it, I saw it, and so that gave me an opportunity to say, okay, well, let's talk about the things that that I am doing, because I want you guys to know that when you're spending money, when things are being sold or whatever to support the platform, we're not like a typical business. Like we give billions of dollars to white businesses that do nothing for the community. We do a lot for the community. So let me go down through some of the things that we do for the community, just to make sure it doesn't get twisted. Freedom Home Academy International is a independent black school in Chicago, run by Marcus Klein. They educate black children at a very high level. I wrote a check for $5,000 to Freedom Home Academy International, and we're actually going to work with them to create a scholarship fund so that they can actually have a bigger budget, because we believe in independent black schools. We're not like the white liberals who tell you to wait for public schools to get better. They're never going to get better. They're never going to want to educate black kids. They don't give a shit about you. I believe black people need our own schools. So if you can give me a yes or no in the chat, do you believe black people should run our own schools, or do you believe we should wait for white people to build better schools? Yes or no? Do you believe black people should run our own schools, or do you believe we should wait for somebody else? Yes or no? We believe black people should have our own schools. And so we gave $5,000 to Freedom Home Academy International. Every month, we spend probably between $40,000 and $50,000 a month, just funding and supporting the black people that help us get things done. People who help us teach the community, people who are helping us form relationships in Africa, so that we can actually expand the investment options for African Americans, people on our team, people that have black children that they're feeding. I don't talk much about it because, honestly, unfortunately, there's a lot of jealous people in the world that don't want to see black people succeed. So when they see you're winning, when they see a black man that's actually building something that's working, because of their own insecurities, they say, okay, my goal is I want to see that Negro go down. I want to see him destroyed. I want to see him wiped out, right? So that's where I can just tell you, if you are successful and you are making money, then somebody's going to try to call you a fraud, and they won't have like any like proof of anything. It'll just be more like, well, you must be a fraud because all of us are struggling and we can't get by. We can't pay the bills. So the fact that you can pay the bills means that you must be a bad person, right? Now, what's fascinating is that you never hear them make those critiques about all the white businesses that come literally and scrape billions out of your community. If I could get black people to support our businesses the way y'all support some goddamn Popeye's chicken, then I could go build a whole damn black public school, a black school system by myself. If I could get black folks to support our business even a tenth as much as we support Disney when they put out a new movie, I would hire 5,000 black teachers tomorrow and build a chain of schools all across the United States. I could go create businesses in every black community across America. I could create entrepreneurship training centers all across the US and solve the black wealth problem in one generation by training 5 million black boys to be business owners and investors at an early age, which would have a remarkable impact on their wealth levels because they would be making far more money as investors than they would by trying to go work for white folks. So let's not get that twisted. If you challenge me, I'm gonna challenge you. I accept the challenge. So my question is, do you accept the challenge? Seriously, it's easy, it's easy to sit on the side in the peanut gallery with some popcorn talking about that Negro didn't give enough. He need to give more money, blah, blah, blah. But you ain't doing shit. Well, no, You challenge me, I challenge you. So I tell you, when you run into the Negro naysayers, because I know y'all, I know they out there, it's okay. Come on in, come on in. It's fine. Bring your challenge, but just know you're going to get challenged back. So the first question, when you ask me, what did I do? I'm going to ask you, what did you do? Somebody's asking about Umar Johnson School. I gave to Umar Johnson School, but that's not the only damn school out here. There's thousands of Black folks out here that are educators that are trying to get it done and trying to build schools. I've supported those schools too. Anybody ever gone to the website, teachourOwnChildren.com? Have you ever heard of that website? Let me see, make sure I got it right. Yep, teachourOwnChildren.com. Go to, oh shit. You got to go double check. There's a web, the site's not up right now. Damn, I wanted to show you guys this. I'm gonna talk to Cheryl Urban. Cheryl Urban runs the new Alkebalon School down in Florida. Umar Johnson's a great educator, but we got a lot of sisters out here that are great educators too. He ain't the only one. So you know, if you're gonna get all riled up about Umar School, then I need you to also get riled up about Marcus Klein School. Marcus Klein will build a school with $10,000. Like Marcus Klein is not a guy who runs Freedom Home Academy International. I'm not putting him up against Umar, but Marcus Klein is a guy where when we gave him $5,000, I asked my manager, I said, so what did he do with the money? What's he going to do with the money? She said, oh, he's going to open up another school in Atlanta. Now, I want y'all to listen. This is only for intelligent Black people. The Negro naysayers are going to say something slick. This is for the intelligent Black people. Process this. How is it that you have a narrative, a false narrative, that I believe it's not true, that says you need $800,000, $1 million to build a school? One big super school is going to fix the whole Black community. One gigantic, massive mega school is going to do it. You know, when you have people out here at the same time, like a Marcus Klein, who can take 5 or 10 grand and get a school started with that, which is a better investment. Has anybody ever checked out Freedom Home Academy International? Have you ever gone to Freedom Home, like looked at their website? They got 6-year-olds. They had a 6-year-old girl that was breaking down human anatomy at a level that made her look like she was in medical school. Seriously. And they're doing this on a bargain basement budget. You don't need $1 trillion to educate a Black child. You don't. All you need is some books or maybe the internet. We got Wi-Fi connections. Do we have Wi-Fi in our community? Do Black people have Wi-Fi? Or am I just assuming too much? Am I putting too much pressure on y'all? Right? All you need an internet connection. You need a grown-up who actually gives a fuck. And then you can make the magic happen. You mix in a grown-up who gives a fuck, who's going to bring love to the table for that child, who's going to sit with that child and take them through online to all the online educational materials that are out there. Their entire documentaries on history, mathematics, physics, chemistry, MIT lectures on biomechanics. Everything you want is right there. Y'all don't need $1 trillion to educate a child. This is not even a comment about Umar School. I hope that school gets built. It sounds like it's going to be phenomenal, but a phenomenal school that doesn't exist, unfortunately, does not have the same impact as an extraordinary school that is real, that's brick and mortar. I visited Freedom Home Academy International when we did the check presentation ceremony, and I saw those little 7-year-olds reciting history and mathematics and biology and physics and chemistry at a level that made them sound like they were in college. So don't you ever let any white person convince you that somehow it's impossible to educate a Black child, or that somehow Black children are just this enigma, this puzzle that they cannot solve. We tried to educate the Negroes. We put $10 trillion into it and they just can't figure it out because Black people is too stupid. Because that's white supremacy talking. White supremacy is the only system and phenomenon that can convince you that white people can be educated, on a reasonable, mediocre budget, and that Black children can't be educated no matter how much money they put into the system. Like white supremacy is the only thing that can convince you that you are so inferior that it's impossible for the majority of your children to know how to read by the age of 18, or that it's impossible for your children to know mathematics by the time they finish high school. insane to me. It's ridiculous. So anyway, these are some of the perspectives that I wanted to share with you guys. The people, the trolls talking shit can continue to talk shit. Let me see. Eric Vandross, I'll make you a moderator, and the family says trolls running wild on here. All right, I'm gonna make you a moderator too. So if you see any trolls, feel free to block them, shut them down, whatever you want to do, it's fine. I haven't even read a lot of the comments, but I do see some of the troll comments in here, and I think that that's what is a problem too. The trolls represent the very worst of what the ADOS movement became. Movements people who participate in movements follow the energy of their leadership. So, like, for example, when Donald Trump was out here saying, get him the hell out of here, kick his ass, I could shoot somebody in on Fifth Avenue. Nobody, when he came with that energy, when he came with that bullshit, his followers felt that gave them permission to get on that same bullshit. Like, his followers started imitating his behavior, right? So with with the ADOS movement, you had a lot of trolling by the leadership. The leadership was basically trolling everybody. Like, they were attacking. The list of people they attacked was so long and ridiculous. It was kind of crazy. It was almost like they made attacking into an industry. And what happened was their followers picked up that same energy and they started attacking people too. So you would have events and you'd have somebody there that claimed ADOS that was there just to be disruptive. And I ran into a couple of them. And what was really funny was I ran into one in South Central LA. There was a brother in the back, and I saw him back there, and I saw what he was there for, and I said, okay, well, let's see how this goes, because I don't run away from nothing, because I believe in what I say. I'm not hiding, and trying to pretend to be something I'm not. So I was like, okay, well, let's just talk about it. My first question in my head is, are you a reasonable person or are you unreasonable? Some people show up because they're really trying to figure out the truth, and then some people show up because they're trying to just take a contrarian position. They're just trying to fight you. They just want to fight. You like argue with your girl, and the days where she really wants peace and the days she wants war, or ladies, you get into a thing with your man, and there's just days where it doesn't matter how you bake the cookies, he's going to be pissed off. He's going to complain no matter what, right? So I try to figure out what's the energy here, what's going on. So I listened to the brother. First thing he said was, I'm a supporter of the ADOS movement and also a supporter of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. That's what, right? As soon as he said that, I said, oh, this is going to be easy, because you can't love Farrakhan and love what Yvette and Tone are doing at the same time. It's very difficult to do. Why? Well, because one of the videos Yvette did was a diss record on Farrakhan, like a complete nasty, hyper aggressive attack on Farrakhan, almost like a penis envy kind of thing. Like I want him gone. I hate this man. He's worthless. He's a piece of shit. And so I was like, my first thought was, so, I think you, like a lot of other members of ADOS, are just misinformed. I said, do you know what your leader said about Farrakhan? And I said, look, I'm not going to tell you what to think, brother, but I encourage you just to go do some research, because I think that you just misguided. I think that you believe in the reparations cause. Sometimes we believe in a cause and we grab onto something that's presented to us because we think they believe in the same thing. It's almost like how you had this guy. Anybody remember? Tell me if you're old enough to remember a dude by the name of Ward Connerly. Give me a yes or no in the chat if you remember Ward Connerly, who was this black conservative who used to go around, and he used to basically, his goal as a black man was to dismantle affirmative action. Does anybody remember Ward Connerly? Give me a yes or no in the chat if you remember Ward Connerly. And hit the thumbs up button. I'm gonna wait for you guys to answer so I can see how many of you know about him. Okay, so a few of you know about him, a few of you don't. Well, Ward Connerly was this guy who was being paid by the Republicans to put a black face on the anti-affirmative action movement. And what Ward did was Ward went around the country and state by state dismantled affirmative action in that state. He just go from state to state to state. And the way he did it was pretty slick. He had some sort of initiative that he called, what he did was he hijacked the language of the liberals or of the Democrats to push a Republican agenda. So he came in, and I think he called his initiative like the Equal Rights Initiative, right? Or something like that. It was something like that. And so he would go up to Black people and say, hey, I have a petition for the Equal Rights Initiative. Would you like to sign this? And Black people were like, oh, yeah, okay, we believe in equal rights, sure. And people would sign not knowing what they were signing up for. They didn't know that they were signing to dismantle affirmative action. And so it was the sneaky language that led them to sign on to something that they normally did not agree with. So I think, unfortunately, that's kind of what happened with ADOS. I separate the leadership because I know the leaders really well. I know Tony and Yvette super well, and I think familiarity breeds contempt. That's why they talk about me so much, and it's fine. It actually benefits me when they talk about me because it makes people curious, and they come, and then I just tell them what I think, and then people make their own decision. But with those two, I separate the leadership from the actual members. I believe the members were misled. There's a pastor by the name of Kevin Cosby who used to be a good friend of mine. And I introduced him to Yvette, and I went, and I kind of regret that because I think he thought that they, saw eye to eye. And unfortunately, I remember also talking to Cosby about how much both he and I love Dr. Claude Anderson. He actually said, I put Dr. Claude Anderson in my budget. Like we give money to him every year because he has the right solutions. So, what I was confused about was I said, how do you, love Dr. Claude Anderson, but you're working, you're having the ADOS convention at your church. Like Yvette, I guess reached out and had the ADOS convention at his church, St. Stephen's Church in Louisville, Kentucky, and Simmons College. And I said, how are you having this convention here when you know that one of the things she's built her whole platform on is attacking Dr. Claude Anderson? She attacked him again this week. She had attacked him, many, many months ago. And I said, so now she's kind of tainting you. Because now Dr. Anderson has no respect for her, not because he had an issue with her, but because he's like, why is this lady keep attacking me? And he's just an 84-year-old man, trying to just do his best to contribute to the reparations cause. He's been fighting for reparations since the 1960s, 1970s. And so it doesn't mean you can't critique what he's doing, or you can't suggest ways to do it better, or help him raise money. The Harvest Institute does good work. Why don't we raise $1 million for the Harvest Institute? White folks raise money for their think tanks. Maybe we can do that for the Harvest Institute. Maybe we can do that for, the Powernomics Corporation, right? I mean, it doesn't mean Powernomics is perfect, but, it's weird to me. I don't see how we think the community can get ahead when you put more support behind Popeye's chicken than you put behind, economic concepts, right? So the point I would make to those of you who are making your own decisions about how you want to go is I encourage you to not believe that you have to make a choice between demanding reparations from the government and building institutions in your own community. Those two ideologies can certainly coexist. One does not have to take away from the other. I just encourage you guys to do that. And I know that I'm sure, Yvette and Tony, they're blocking everybody. I think they're blocking people because I think they're probably feeling this pressure. They're not feeling comfortable with all the attacks they're getting in response to what's going on. And they're going to continue to attack people because that's their industry. That's what they love to do. They'll probably do an attack video about me after I make this video, which is fine. That's totally cool. Because by this point, what's happened is they've become so alienated and isolated within the Black community that when they do the attack video, the only people that are really going to take that stuff seriously are typically going to be people who are already just negative, nasty, bitter ass people anyway. Like those are the trolls that are in here that are here just to be disruptive. And so I just, I think you got to ask yourself, which side are you on? Are you trying to build and create and bring people together? Or are you trying to fight and divide and tear people apart? Because it's one thing I'll also say is that there's nobody I'll ever discuss on this channel, just as my own code of conduct. There's nobody I'll ever discuss on this channel who can't call me if they want a more thorough explanation of my critique. If they want to have a private conversation to say, hey, Boyce, you said some shit about me on your channel. I didn't like it. What's going on? I'll be more than happy to have an honest, open, transparent dialogue to say, okay, here's what I meant. This is what I stand by. Let's see if we can find common ground. So when somebody doesn't want common ground, that usually means that they're determined to be your enemy, which means somehow they're benefiting financially or otherwise by fighting you, right? They're benefiting financially or otherwise by creating chaos. They're benefiting financially or otherwise by creating division. And I believe, and give me a yes or no. I mean, I don't know. I believe based on the pulse that having my finger on the pulse of the Black community that I connect with, I believe that most of you want unity. So give me a yes or no. Do you want unity or not? Yes or no in the chat. Say it in the chat. How many of you want unity? Do you want unity or do you want division? Do you want to see people fighting or do you want to see people coming together? Give me a yes or no. Yes for unity. No if you like disunity. Yes or no. I'd like for you guys to answer so we can confirm this kind of in the chat so that at least you can make a decision individually on where you stand on this. And I think that when you see a dialogue that's occurring, you can decide, okay, does this feed into my quest for unity or does this feed into my quest for plantation fights or my natural instinct to want to see Negroes fight? Because that's what it is. We've been trained since the plantation days to really, really hate each other. And so that's a bad habit to break. And personally, I'm gonna tell you, I want to break that habit in myself. Sometimes I fall into it, and I don't mean to, and I had to be real careful, even with the Lizzo thing, to make sure that I made it clear that my battle's not with her, my battle's with white supremacy. I think she's very, very talented. I wish her the very, very best. But I'm sorry if you letting white people pay you to, go to Lakers games with your ass out. I'm going to have to speak against that because I'm concerned about our little girls who are being kidnapped and raped and being sucked up by the R. Kellys in the world because they're being sexualized at an early age and led to believe that this kind of behavior is appropriate when actually this is not beneficial to what our young girls are getting, what our young girls are receiving. So if that counters your whatever agenda you might have, I'm sorry. I'd be more than happy if Lizzo called me on the phone and said, hey, Doc, it sounds like you're really attacking me or whatever, then I could gladly explain like, no, this ain't about you. I think you're very talented. I think I wish you the very best. I read your whole bio. I know your whole story. I want you to win, but all money ain't good money. You can't take money for doing things that are affecting the image of Black women all around the world, because again, we got little girls being kidnapped, raped, and being statued, and going through all kinds of nonsense. Because people see the Black woman as some sort of vixen, some sort of whore, some sort of worthless piece of shit. And I don't think that the image you present to the world is beneficial to the women that I love and the women I respect and the community that I represent. So that's what that conversation would actually look like. But of course, those conversations don't get to happen because, sometimes people just want to fight. So anyway, Keith Reynolds, thank you for your donation. He says, question the belief systems is okay, but constantly attacking folks isn't working. I support you and her. Each of us have different roles, and until we all know that, we won't be free. I agree with you 100%, and I think it's totally fine to support both. And I just say at the end of the day, if I had a chance to sit down with all of them, what I think would be the dopest thing in the world, what I think would be totally awesome, is if we had a big conference where all of us just got together, no matter what your opinions were, and had everybody on the same stage giving their point of view, and then everybody goes home and is better because of it. That would be awesome. Like I would participate in that in a second. But unfortunately, what we have now is something that's still going to be effective, but it's unfortunate because it's becoming adversarial. But the FBA convention, Tariq's Foundation of Black Americans convention, I'm gonna participate in that. And I think that they know pretty well what my perspective is because I'm open about that. And he invited me, and I'm glad to participate. And I don't know who else is going to be there. I know Vicki Dillard, for one, will be there, and a few others, and I'll support that. But I'm actually a little bit sad that the momentum created from the ADOS movement by Yvette and Tone cannot be folded into a unified strategy for all of us to get something that we believe in, right? I would have been happier with that, right? But now it's sort of like, now you got them sitting over there mad because they're threatened by the fact that Tariq has created another conference, and it's become a kind of a silly, immature conversation. Like, why are you creating a conference just like our conference? You stealing from us? No, nobody owns the idea, the reparations concept. White people have 10 billion conferences a year, right? Like white people have so many conferences, it's ridiculous. There's not like one white tech conference. There's not like one white conference on cannabis or one white conference on immigration, right? White people have as many conferences as they want, and they don't see the existence of another conference to mean that somehow you're taking something away from them. And so I just think it's kind of silly, honestly. So anyway, that's it. That's my honest perspective. You can do it as you wish. I look forward to the next attack video. Again, I think that Yvette and Tone have made it into an industry to just kind of speak and counter whatever it is that I'm doing, whatever I'm saying. So who knows? Maybe they'll say something about my trip to Colombia. I'm sure that they will. But I don't think that's the best strategy for them. I think that they should probably spend more time telling you what they're doing for the community than they spend complaining about other people not doing enough or doing it in the wrong way. But I'll leave it up to you. Only intelligent Black people are going to get that, and then other people just, maybe, I don't know, whatever your role is, you can just do what you're going to do. All right. So do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. Also, if you want to support the platform, help us grow. We'd love to get you into our tribe for intelligent Black people. You can go to intelligentblackpeople.com. That's intelligentblackpeople.com. If you want to build with your family and build business and learn investing in the stock market, things like that, you can go to theblackbusinessschool.com, THE. That's theblackbusinessschool.com. So take care, guys, and I hope you have a good day, and I'll see you soon. Be good. Peace.